high-profile murder investigations on both sides of the river. Yesterday, we told you about the arrest of Dustin Williamson in connection with the 7th Lounge nightclub shooting in Aiken. That was also just around Thanksgiving. 17 people were injured. One person died in that shooting. Williamson is also charged in connection with killing 77-year-old grandmother Henrietta Creech the same night as the nightclub shooting. And today we're learning two 18-year-olds are behind bars charged with killing two men at a barber shop in Augusta last month. Marquise Harris and Kazari Middleton charged with murder and attempted armed robbery. They're accused of killing Miguel Freeman and Wyman Scott in broad daylight just days before Thanksgiving. Our Celeste Springer live outside of that Harrisburg barber shop with what led up to this arrest. What was the big break, Celeste?
Yeah, a lot of new updates coming out of all those shootings, but back here at the barbershop, things are locked up and vacant with no sign of anyone returning soon to open up shop. Two suspects are 18 years old, and investigators tell us that just yesterday they got information which led them to believe there are three suspects in this case. We know Harris and Middleton are behind bars on murder, attempted armed robbery, and gun charges, but we don't know anything about that third suspect. We searched criminal records for Harris and Middleton. No history of any violent crime there. However, we did find out Middleton was pulled over just yesterday when he was in the passenger side of the car. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office tells us they found a 380 caliber gun on him, which they believe is stolen. The Sheriff's Office was unable to tell us if this gun had any ties to the barbershop robbery. Meanwhile, one person who lives nearby tells us despite two suspects being in custody, he doesn't feel much better.
Yeah, I still feel a little bit uneasy. There's a lot of things that need to be done in this area. But, can't nobody do it all, and mainly it's up to the people that live in this area.
Got it.
What's next? What's next for the 7th Lounge shooting as well as this shooting? Well, I'll have all that information coming up for you at 6 o'clock.
Okay, Celeste, thank you for bringing those live updates from Harrisburg. The FDA is expected to approve a second COVID vaccine for emergency use any time now. Moderna's vaccine was recommended by an FDA advisory panel yesterday. Elise Preston reports.
The U.S. is poised to add another COVID-19 vaccine to its arsenal. The FDA is expected to give the Moderna vaccine the green light soon, and federal officials say nearly 6 million doses could be shipped across the country as soon as next week. The Moderna vaccine was 94% effective at trials and does not require the ultra-cold storage that Pfizer's vaccine does.
The way through this challenging time is vigilance and a vaccine.
Vice President Pence rolled up his sleeve Friday to receive Pfizer's COVID vaccine, as did Second Lady Karen Pence. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also got their first dose of the vaccine.
3, 1, vaccinate!
On the front lines, healthcare workers continue to receive the vaccine, as well as nursing home residents, including 95-year-old Jean Peters from Connecticut.
I feel fine. I feel good.
By the time we get to several months into this year, we will have enough people protected that we can start thinking seriously about the return to normality.
With cases surging, public hospitals here in New York City have once again suspended elective surgeries to free up space for COVID-19 patients.
This situation is even more dire in Southern California, where some hospitals have run out of ICU beds, and patients are being triaged and treated outside.
We're at the point where we no longer can take care of them. The wait is a lot longer. Patients are really sick.
This retirement home for nuns in Elm Grove, Wisconsin, lost 8 sisters to coronavirus just in the last week. At Thanksgiving, more than 100 of the sisters tested positive. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
President-elect Joe Biden and Dr. Biden will receive their first dose of the COVID vaccine Monday. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will receive her vaccine the following week. Outside over downtown Augusta, it is...
Until an agreement is passed, whenever that may be, we'll just continue voting for important posts that we can confirm in the meantime. So let's finish our business for the American people.
Walgreens started vaccinating people in long-term care facilities today. The pharmacy started giving the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine to residents and staff up in Ohio and Connecticut. The company says they'll give the vaccine in 800 long-term care facilities across 12 states. That starts next week. and they'll continue to do that, expanding out to 35,000 long-term care facilities that are working with Walgreens to get those vaccines. Twitter says it will begin removing misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines from its site. That includes posts with false claims saying the virus is not real. People who violate the rules will have to delete before they can tweet again. Twitter will still hide it before it gets deleted, but this new policy goes into effect next week. Not only are COVID deaths rising nationwide, but so are overdose deaths. A new CDC report shows more than 81,000 drug overdose deaths happened in the U.S. over the last year. According to the agency, that is the highest number of overdose deaths ever recorded in a year's time. Overdose deaths were rising in the months before the start of the pandemic, but the CDC believes, and it's not a stretch to believe, that the strain of the pandemic also played a role in a lot of those deaths. Since we still have to celebrate holidays at a distance, Zoom is lifting that 40-minute time cap on free calls again. Time limits will be off on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, and throughout Kwanzaa. So call someone you love and talk for a long time and make the best of a tough year. We've all seen the TV commercials of somebody getting a car, maybe matching sets of cars on Christmas morning. While that does not happen to at least anyone I've ever met, there are some gifts you can get for the car lover in your life. Jamie Tucker is in the driver's seat with those ideas.
First on the list, a dash cam. You're familiar with these. You've seen some of the video. They capture amazing video of those idiots on the road.
This rear cam bundle from Nextbase has one camera pointed forward, another for what's behind you, capturing high definition when you're moving and then putting it on an SD card. If something happens that you want to save, you can lock the clip. Otherwise, the next time you drive, it records over what you don't need. Now, when the car is parked, the Nextbase 222X will start recording if the car is bumped. The Nextbase 222X bundle is $140. That annoying check engine light could signal something big or something small. Well, rather than taking it to a shop to find out, you can use an OBD2 reader. Insert it into the OBD port in your vehicle and it will diagnose any problem. And if it's something small like a loose gas cap, it'll give you the option to clear the warning light. The OBD Link MX works on every vehicle in the family and costs about $100. Jumper cables take up a lot of room, but you do need a set, or you can use a portable jump starter, small enough to fit in a glove box that will charge phones as well. The JumpSmart Jump Starter will jump up to an 8-cylinder vehicle, also has a flashlight. Many people use the USB ports to charge their phone, but these don't work nearly as well as using an adapter in the cigarette lighter. Adapters you find at checkout counters are not very good, so look for the ones made of metal. They're usually under $15.
Just make sure they have 2 USB inputs. They'll really appreciate that. These make great stocking stuffers for anyone who has a car. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
All right, some interesting advice. I like that car charger, the jump starter thing. That's pretty cool. But holiday shopping, we know, it's in full swing. Stores are preparing this weekend for that final dash. The National Retail Federation estimates more than 150 million Americans plan to shop this Saturday. Despite the pandemic, that is what you call procrastination. And big retailers like Walmart and Target have said they'll continue to enforce social distancing and capacity limits. Companies are encouraging you to take advantage of all those curbside pickup services. I saw the Walmart North Augusta, they doubled their curbside pickup, so hopefully you'll be able to get a curb option. 'Tis the season of giving. Take a look at these lines. Golden Harvest in Aiken, along with Crosby Partners, made sure people in Bamberg got a little extra help this holiday season. Bamberg's former mayor said the lines sometimes get so long they stretch for blocks, but he says it's a labor of love.
I wanted to just keep being positive, and we get through this and get to the next level. I just want to keep pushing it forward so we can do better.
He says he's been doing it for the past 13 years. There's been a lot of demand this year during the pandemic. His message to people is simple. It feels good to help a neighbor. A simple but needed message this time of year. Alone and trapped in his car in freezing temperatures, no heat. Not only is he alive, but he's telling his story. We'll tell you how he was found.
And we are finally here towards the...
A 58-year-old man is alive and telling his story as he recovers from his hospital bed. He was trapped in a car buried in snow without heat for 10 hours. New York officials say Kevin Crescent was trapped in his car during Wednesday night's snowstorm. His car ran off the road, and at some point a snowplow came by, covered his car with 4 more feet of snow. Dispatchers had received calls from him, but law enforcement had not been able to find him in all that snow. One officer started digging along a row of mailboxes to check addresses to find out where he was, but while he was digging, he hit Crescent's windshield, which is what we call a miracle. The city where Crescent was received about 40 inches, but man, that guy is lucky. That is some seriously dangerous weather, Riley.
Definitely so. I mean, it really is something that we really can't even imagine here this far south.
The city where Crescent was received about 40 inches, but man, that guy is lucky. That is some seriously dangerous weather, Riley.
Definitely so. I mean, it really is something that we really can't even imagine here this far south. That amount of snow, I mean, being buried at 4 feet of snow, absolutely incredible that he made it out, and best of luck to him. We do have clear skies.
Message.
There's a huge crop of mistletoe in the United Kingdom this year, but as Tina Krause reports, farmers are having to kiss sales goodbye as COVID threatens the ancient tradition.
Harvesting mistletoe is an annual tradition for British farmer Mark Adams.
So as we had a very sunny summer and late autumn, the berries are all pearl white and perfect.
But despite that, mistletoe sales in the UK are down as much as 75%. Have you kissed under the mistletoe?
Oh yeah.
Will you be this year?
Maybe not. With the mask on.
Yeah, exactly. Tends to take the romance away from it.
Coronavirus has made kissing a health hazard, and with festive social gatherings banned, the mistletoe trade is taking a hit.
Lots of mistletoe goes for winter weddings, like my business would usually supply 200 to 300 weddings with mistletoe. This year it's just been decimated.
22. Crowds have packed the town of Worcester for a yearly mistletoe auction since Victorian times, but this year COVID called it off.
Well, it's rather sad, really. I've been doing it since 1977.
Sarah Sharkey is determined to keep the tradition going during the pandemic with mistletoe by post.
People have been sending them to weddings that they haven't been able to go to, and to grandparents and parents that they maybe haven't been able to see.
The show must go on.
Amir says he won't let COVID spoil his plans.
And I might propose to her under the mistletoe this year.
Sealing the deal with a kiss, even in 2020. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
For tomorrow, if you got to get out in the yard, maybe